and welcome to Short Story Scene. I am your host, the storyteller, and here we have a tale called The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as someone gently rapping my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door, "only this and nothing more." I remember, it was the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books, Circeus, the sorrow for the loss of Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden who the angels name Lenore, nameless here and forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door." Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. "'Tis this and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact that I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there and nothing more. Deep into the darkness peering long, I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting and dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared dream before. But the silence was broken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whisper word Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word Lenore, nearly this and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, this mysterious explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flit and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the latest obeisance made her, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with the mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon the bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat and nothing more. Then the ebon bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fell, and here discourse so plainly, though in the answer little meaning, little reverence bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only the one word, as if his soul in that one word he did not outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at this stillness broken by the reply so abruptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it mutters is its own stock and store, caught from some unhappy master whose unmercifully disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dinges of his hope and the melancholy burden bore of never, never more. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in the front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and miscellaneous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This is sat engaging in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fellow those fiery eyes, no burden into my bosom's core. This is more, I said, divining, with my head a cease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining, that the lamplight gloated o'er. This is whose velvet violet lining, with the lamplight gloating over. She shall press on nevermore. Then methought that the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by Seraphim, whose footfalls tinkled on the tuffled floor. Wretch, I called, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee. Respite, and nefent from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh, quaff that this kind Nephilim, and forgot that this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, the thing of evil, prophet still, of bird or devil, whether tempered sent, or whether tempest tossed thy here ashore, desolate yet all daunted, on this desert land enchanted, on the home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is this their balm of Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by the heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden within the distant Aden, and shall clasp the sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shriek upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's plutonium shore. Leave no black plume as a token of thy lie, though soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting, on the placid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeing of the devils that is dreaming, and lamplight over him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out the shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. And that is The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. If you like this content, please support this by heading over to the Patreon. That is www.patreon.com/short story scene. Thank you for listening, and talk to you next episode. Bye.